Hello everybody, want to welcome you to today's webinar. I'm here with the super amazing, the totally fantabulous, I know that's not a word, Shay Brown, and I'm Trevor Otts, and today we're going to be talking to you guys about the To Be Continued close. This is our special webinar designed and guaranteed to raise your profit margins by over 300%. This is the first time that we have taught this. This is, if you're on this webinar, consider yourself special because we're going to be teaching you some of our secret techniques, huh, Shay?
Absolutely.
So, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself before we get started, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about Shay Brown. So, here's a little bit about me. Well, Shay, you know what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so a video must be worth 1,000,000 words. So that's a little bit about me and what I do, and I'm looking forward to encouraging people to take their business to the next level. So would you care to share with our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely, Trevor. Thanks a lot for having me on today's webinar. I'm really excited to be here. You know, as I was watching your video, I said, it's so incredible how you're able to take something and make it so creative and be able to tell a story. And as I'm sitting here, I want to slide you a note and say, hey, at some point you need to create something like that for me, man. And all of you that are listening right now, that type of video, that type of message, forget what he had in there. Just think about the concept itself. So, Trevor, you're truly an amazing person. It's really special just to be on this webinar with you and just to share some of the best ideas. And we're going to help a lot of folks, Trevor. So let me just take a minute and just tell you a little bit about myself. My company is Partners in Learning. And what we do is we teach you an easier way to be successful in sales. And I didn't start off this way. I started off like a number of you out there, by the way. I started off in business, got laid off from my job. I was really happy at my job, by the way. Made some good money, but they laid me off. So I decided I want to do something bold, something different, something adventurous. Take my little severance check down to Verizon or down to Kinko's, get some business cards made up, and I kind of got started the next day, and then I ran out of money. And at the time, I didn't have someone like Trevor to work with to kind of show me the ropes. And so one of the things I decided to do is I decided to learn how to sell so I could just stay in business. And I went out and studied under a number of different folks, a lot of different mentors. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I learned is that selling is a learned skill. And if you all got your paper and pencil, I'll just jot that down right now. It's one of your first notes today is that selling is a learned skill. So I learned how to sell. My company now has been in business 8 years. And what I like most is I'm just like every one of you listening to this webinar. I'm still in the field, and so is Trevor. That's why I like working with Trevor. We're still in the field every day. We got our sleeves rolled up. We're in the trenches. We're making phone calls. We're producing these type of content pieces so we can make a difference in the world. So my company's been in business 8 years, all the time, full time. And the mission of my company is to teach 10 million sales professionals over the next 10 years how to make more sales with less effort. Trevor, I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much. I know we got just a fantastic content piece lined up for everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over back to you. And I got my paper and pencil, and I'm ready to take some fantastic notes.
So, Shay, I think this is the first time that we've ever actually done a webinar together. This is our first webinar, huh?
Absolutely. We're creating history right now. So those of you listening are truly fortunate to be right here present with us at this time.
So let me tell you why Shay and I got together. Is that Shay is a sales professional. He is a sales coach. He's the master of sales. If you don't know that, he is the author of Do You Have Sales Swagger? And he coaches people on sales every day. And as you know, I am a marketing coach. I'm a marketing professional. I've been known as the motivational speaker, the machine gun marketer, and many other titles. But one of the things that we realized is that many people get sales and marketing mixed up. So just to clarify that real quick, marketing is all about getting people interested in your product or services. And oftentimes, you are able to get people interested in your products or services, but then you fail to actually close the client. And so sales is the actual closing of the client, where marketing is the thing that makes the client interested in the product. And if you've ever heard one of my famous quotes is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. But with good marketing, you can sure make them thirsty. So today, Shay and I have decided to come together like the Wonder Twins and teach you guys a technique that is designed to help you do more business. Not only create clients who are interested in your products or services, who are hungry for your products and services, but also put you in position to close the client. So I have a question for you. Have you ever been watching television, watching a really good show? I remember one of my parents' favorite shows, especially my mother's favorite show, was a show named Dallas. You ever see the show Dallas?
Oh,
right?
yes.
It was my mother's favorite show, and I used to watch it with her. And if you've ever been watching a really good television show, sooner or later, you run across that episode. You know, the episode that was getting good. And as it was getting good, you see the dreaded to be continued. And I remember when JR got shot on Dallas Shay, the very first thing that popped up was like, oh my God, somebody shot JR. By the way, those people who don't know about Dallas, it's a show from the 80s. I might
go Google it.
Right, I might be telling my age here, Shay. But it was really good, Shay. And I was really excited. I was like, wow, the show is getting really good. And then, before I could see the end, the dreaded to be continued came up. And so today we're going to teach people that same technique to make people sit up right on the edge of their seat where they are dying to get your products and services. And then at the end, you're going to say to be continued. So let's start teaching them the to be continued close, okay?
Sounds good.
And every time I say it, I'm like, are you serious? I mean, the show is to be continued. I got to wait all the way to next week. Imagine if your clients were hungry, so hungry that they couldn't wait to see you next week, couldn't wait to come to your store, couldn't wait to buy your product, can't wait to see what you roll out next. That's what we're going to be doing. So let's talk about the to be continued close. And the to be continued close is sort of like a ride. And imagine, Shay, if you and I were going on a ride and I said, Shay, would you like to ride with me to, let's say, Ohio? And you get in the car and we start taking that long journey. And around about halfway, Shay, I stop the car and I pull over and I say, Shay, we can't go any further unless you contribute to the gas and the tolls. Now you got one or two options, Shay. Is you can either turn around and go all the way back to DC,
okay,
or you can pay the toll and continue to go forward. Now, here's the interesting thing about that, Shay, is that if you quit, it's going to take you equally as much effort to go back as it is going to take you to go forward. And this is the premise of the to be continued close, that you take people on a ride and you take them far enough along that for them to quit, it will require just as much effort for them to quit as it would for them to go back.
Got it.
Okay? So, let's start with the first premise of the to be continued close. The first premise of the to be continued close is start the client on something that they cannot finish without you. Take them on that ride. Take them on that journey. But specifically, start the client on something that they cannot finish without you. So here's an example, Shay. The first phase of the to be continued close goes a little bit like this. Shay, you are a sales coach and you coach people all the time, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So the first phase is, Shay, you would set up an initial meeting with somebody like myself and I would come in and I would meet with you. Okay?
Okay.
And during that meeting, the thing that you would let me do is you would let me talk all about myself. what I want to do with my business, what I want to do with my products, what I want to do with my services. But you will let me dominate the conversation. So the first meeting is all about the client. The first meeting should always be about the client. So let's just say, Shay, ordinarily, your first initial meeting with clients, how long do you normally meet with them?
I like to do about 25 to 30 minutes. 25
to 30 minutes. So during that 25 to 30 minutes, you just let me talk all about me, because remember, it is about the client.
Okay.
At the end of that conversation, you set an appointment, or what we call TBC, and to be continued, for the next meeting. So TBC stands for to be continued, and basically you're going to TBC them. You're going to set them up for the next meeting. Now, we're going to move next into the second phase of the to be continued close. In the second phase, you meet with the client again.
Okay.
But during that second phase, you paint your vision for the client. This is really important, is that during the first meeting, it was all about the client. I listened to the client. I heard the client. I made sure to ask critical questions to make sure that I understood their needs. Okay? By the way, one special note about the first phase of the to be continued close is that during the first phase, something I failed to mention is that you want to, if possible, record that initial meeting either by writing down some notes, or maybe using, I know I use Evernote. It's a great app for those people who have iPhones and Android phones. But you also want to write those notes down in the first meeting. Now, before I meet with the client again, I send them an email of the notes and my summary of what I thought they said in the first meeting. Because remember, the first meeting is about them. And so I want to make sure that they know that I think of them as important. Now I get on to the second phase of the to be continued close, and I'm meeting with the client for a second time. And at that second meeting, I am now painting my vision for the client. Now here's a very important rule here. Shay, in your second meeting with the client, your vision for the client should always be bigger than theirs. So if they came in and they said they wanted to make $5,000, I create a plan for them to make $500,000. If they said they wanted to write a book in a year, I create a plan for them to write a book in 6 months. So in other words, you should not be working with anybody whose vision is larger than that of your own. So when you're painting your vision for the client, your vision should be bigger than theirs. Whatever their vision is, you need to multiply it by a minimum of 2, right? A good factor is 10. And then at the end of that meeting, we TBC them again. So let's just track what we've done. The first meeting, we let them talk all about themselves. It was all about them. The second meeting, we talked about our vision for them, okay? So now we've painted a picture, okay? We've kind of drawn a map. We've kind of said, hey, this is how we're going to get to $1 million. This is how we're going to write that book. We've drawn out a map, okay? And on that map, we've told them where we're trying to go to, okay? So in other words, I showed you earlier the picture of the road, the journey. Well, part of the to be continued close is you need to tell the person where you're going. You need to be able to clearly articulate where you're trying to get to, how you're going to get there, and where exactly you're going, okay? You need to paint the map. You need to draw the map. That's what I mean by paint the vision. And then we move into the final phase of the to be continued close. During the final phase of the to be continued close, we meet with the client one final time, okay? And after we meet with that client one final time, this is what we do. In that meeting rather, we get them moving, working. We start working with. If I said you were going to make $1 million, we start working on how we're going to make that $1 million. If I said we were going to drive to North Carolina, then we drive halfway to North Carolina. But we take some definitive action towards the vision that we laid out for the client. Let me say that again. We take definitive actions toward the vision that we laid out for the client, meaning that we started driving half the way there. And then eventually and inevitably, it becomes time for us to put up the toll booth. And it becomes time for us to close the deal. So let me recap this, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Shay, because then he's gonna teach us how to close the deal. The number one premise of the to be continued close is very simple. Start the client on something that they cannot finish without your on-site supervision. That's the first thing. Second thing, you want to remember that you want to paint a very clear vision of where you're going with the client, how you plan on getting there. And remember, your vision should be bigger than that of the client. In the third phase, or the final phase, you actually get them to take some definitive action, meaning to come down the road. Because remember, in the example that I gave you about the road, is that it becomes equally as hard for them to quit and go back, or requires equally as much effort for them to go back as it does for them to go forward. So it's no longer a matter of money, it's simply a matter of are they committed or not. And now, Shay, I've had my first meeting with them. I've talked to them, or I let them talk all about themselves. In my second meeting, I painted a vision that is larger than their vision. I told them how I'm going to help them get there. I told them exactly what the steps are, how we're going to get there, when we're going to get there. And then I've also, in my third meeting, or meeting rather, I've got them working on the goal, working the plan. And now it becomes time for me to close the deal. And so, Shay, now that I got them to the point that I'm ready to close the deal, can you tell me, what should I be doing next?
Well, Trevor, I mean, the information that you have just shared with these folks is just truly amazing. As you folks are listening right now, just the outline that he just shared with you right now, if you were to ask what the value of what you just received, like if you were to write a check, it's like $100,000. I mean, that's the value of what Trevor just shared. And Trevor, you're right, sales and marketing go together like peanut butter and jelly. And certainly you can have peanut by itself, or you can have jelly by itself. But I like having both. And today you brought something together. They can have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it's going to be wonderful. Let me go ahead and share what you can share, what you can say right now. You asked the question, what can you say? How to best close? And I'm going to share just 3 steps to a close. But before I do that, I just want to share one sentence that you can all say at the very end of your presentation when you're ready to ask for the order. And, you know, scripting or sales has language. It has patterns, it has language. And we call this the final close. So one of the things that I'm going to share with you is exactly what can you say. And think right now for a moment, what do you say at the very end when you're ready to close the deal? So I'm going to give you a 1-sentence script that you can say. And go ahead and jot this down in your notes. Hopefully you're all taking notes. I was taking notes while Trevor was talking. He gave us just some golden nuggets that's going to put money in our pocket today. And Trevor, that's what I like about this webinar. We're going to really change the world. We're going to help some folks. I mean, some of you out there, you're going to create a breakthrough for you just on this call today. But here's what you can go and jot down in your notes. And here it is right here. This is what we call the final close. And I got this from a gentleman by the name of Eric, and he got it from Dr. Moyne and a number of mentors. But here it is. Put this in your notes. How do you feel about moving forward? Wow. Now, this is what I call the final close, Trevor. They're at the very end of the presentation. There's nothing else to talk about. They've now painted the vision. They've walked them through it. They've got them moving. They've got to ask for the business. And sometimes people want something that's fancy. They say, what can I say? You know, it doesn't really matter what you say. I just want you to know what your final sentence is. And one of my favorite is just how do you feel about moving forward? So go ahead and jot that down in your notes. Now, once you do that and you finish that, they've got to say 1 or 3 things. They got to say yes, no, or give you an objection. And I'm going to share some ideas that you can use to handle the objections. But just so we can go ahead and cover some content. Trevor, you've made this a very content-rich webinar, and I'm really excited about that. There's not a lot of rah-rah, not a hide hoopla. We're giving them information that's going to help them. So let's go ahead right now. 3 easy steps to close the deal. Step number 1 is to use a script. Now, I know that some of you have a high resistance to that, so today we'll call it a collection of words. We'll call it organized thoughts. We'll call it phrases. We'll call it sentences to move them to action. But I want you to know exactly what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, and how you're going to say it. So take some time to write that down. And why do you want to write it down? You'll be more powerful. You'll be more persuasive, and you'll also move the person to action without sounding salesy. Let's just call it an invisible way to close. The second fundamental way to do it is to have a vision. And one of the things I want you to do, and this is what all the great athletes do right now. I mean, right now there's a number of different things that are going on in the world, but think about the greatest athletes you know, whether it's a Serena Williams who's just been dominant in tennis. One of the things she sees herself hitting the ball before the ball gets there. She sees the ball landing. And what I want you to do is imagine exactly what you're going to say. Imagine your body language. Imagine how you position it. Imagine the person and how they respond. So first, we're going to know what we're going to say. Then we're going to visualize ourselves. We're going to see ourselves there before it happens. And here's something that's really cool, and you can jot this down in your notes. your mind doesn't know the difference between what's imaginary and what's real. So you can practice this over and over and over again as if it's real. The third fundamental way to do it is to practice. Now, obviously, right now, if you were to go out and you were to learn how to hit tennis balls, I mean, Serena doesn't just sit at home and visualize. We can't just think our way there. It's not like the law of attraction. You just sit around and hope that it comes. We've got to practice. Nothing happens without practice. And what I want you to do is practice your close. How do you feel about moving forward? How do you feel about moving forward? Practice. Here's how we work. Practice the steps that you need to go through to really move the prospect to action. Those are just 3 easy steps. Use a script, have a vision, and practice. But today, Trevor, if it's okay with you, I know you just gave me a few moments, but you shared some content that's going to just really rock my world. And I'd like to just give a bonus idea. Is that okay?
Hey, that's okay with
me. I mean, I know it wasn't in here. It's not part of the script. But if it's okay, I'm going to take a few moments because this right here is one of those $50,000 ideas. So everyone tune in really, really quickly. Like tune in to a webinar like you've never listened to one before. Here it is. Here's just a couple bonuses. I'm going to call it the story close. Now, you may have heard this before, but if you haven't, put this in your notes. Nothing sells like success. Facts tell, stories sell. So I'm going to share a couple of ways that you can embed stories into your story right before you close. So let's go ahead and give you 3 simple steps you can do. A couple of different steps. Number 1. 3 benefits of a close. Here's why you want to use a close. 1 is that stories help to relax the individual. And what they know when they hear you telling the story is they like you, they trust you, they want to do business with you. But it's also a third party. It's like social proofing. It's a convincer. It's something that you can bring to them right there on the spot. Secondly is that stories are captivating. So you're not trying to persuade them. You're not trying to influence them. What you're trying to do is get your point across. And I don't know of a better way to do it than to tell a great story of a client that you work with. Another way is that stories drive home closing points. So you know some of their objections. You know perhaps they want to look at the contract. Maybe they're looking at other vendors. Perhaps they want to think about it. You know this, so you can tell stories of clients who were very similar to them but took a step, and then tell the reason why they took the step. Also, I like to share with you that develop stories that close the sale. Now, again, we're not trying to persuade them. We're not trying to influence them. We're not trying to push them. We're just trying to say, look, once I have a formula and I tell a story of someone else that has done it, then it leads to the fact that they can do it as well. Now, what I like to do is just share with you an easy formula. I mean, I like formulas, I like systems, and I like structure. And one of the benefits of doing that is that once you have a formula, you can go step by step exactly what you need to do. So I know if you're tired, you got your paper and pencil out and you're taking notes. Go ahead and jot down these couple of notes right now. One is that stories when you're putting your story together, get every single detail that you can. Customers like details. Why did the person take an action before? What were some of their thoughts? What's happened since you started working with them? Secondly, is to write out the details. You know, let's not rely on our memory. No sloppy thinking here. Let's have the details of the story. And once you have the details, then you can make the story shorter or longer, and you can customize it, which they're really, really looking for. The next idea that I want to share with you is make sure the stories are short, clear, and interesting. One of the best examples I know, and Trevor, you really appreciate this one, is Jared from Subway. You know, you kind of tell them, here's where they were prior to working with you. That's one step. Step number 2 is here's some steps they took while they work with you. And 3, here's where they are today. It's as old as time. The next one I want you to do, I just want you to rehearse telling your story. And once you rehearse, it's like practicing. Now, you can't get around that. People say, well, Shay, I don't have time to rehearse it. I'm telling you around, you cannot beat practice. It's like anything else. It's like going to the gym. You can talk about going to the gym. You can read a book about joining the gym. You can listen to these webinars. But until you go do it, nothing happens. Practice your story. And when do you want to practice the story? Well, you want to practice before you're with the client. And that's when most folks practice. They practice right on the spot. But that's not you any longer. Next idea I want to share with you is to write your stories on 3x5 cards. Now, obviously, you all have smartphones. You've been to Trevor's training, and I'm in his training right now. So I'm learning how to automate this stuff. So you don't have to use a 3x5 card anymore. You can use your smartphone. You can do the notes in there, which is what Trevor was talking about earlier. So prior to meeting with a client, you now can pull it out and say, whoa, here's who I'm meeting with today. Here are 3 or 4 or 5 other people who are very similar to that person. So prior to the meeting, you know what stories you're going to tell. Then the last idea I like to share is I like to develop at least 5 good closing stories. When you get to the very end of your presentation, I want you to know that, you know what? I'm going to share stories with you on folks who had an objection. So let's get to the end and say, how do you feel about moving forward? That was the close, by the way, right? That was the one sentence close I'd recommend. You don't have to do that, but I'm recommending you know what you're going to say. How do you feel about moving forward? The person says, I don't have the money. Now, you've got to have a story around someone else that had the money and took action. But the next thing that you can mention, which I think is really cool, is you can say this. Is that your only concern? So you get to the end of the presentation. How do you feel about moving forward? You're silent. They've got to say something. They say, I've got to think about it. You can have a response. Is that your only concern? When they say something back and they give you another concern, you can say, well, let me share with you a quick story of another client who had a very similar concern. They wanted to think about it. Here's the reason they moved forward. Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. You're going to be more powerful and more persuasive. You know, thanks a lot, Trevor, for having me share just those ideas on the call that we have here today. Just having stories and knowing exactly what you're going to say so you can close the deal and you can finish up what you started. Trevor, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you. I know you got some great content. You want to share with the folks some next steps.
Well, also, Shay, I'd like to share personal testimony. I had been working with clients and I was doing marketing consulting and I was having a problem closing. And I attended one of your Right Now sales boot camps. By the way, if you've not attended the Right Now sales boot camp with Shay Brown, you are truly missing something. But I found that I was not closing my clients at high of a rate as I thought I should. I was giving value. I was working really hard and I was giving away all sorts of freebies and things like that. But I found that I was not closing. And those simple tips literally boosted my business by 300%. But not only did it get me more business, it allowed me to raise my margins or my prices significantly. So I would meet with the client and meet with the client and meet with the client. Now I have combined the to be continued close with your ultimate sales script, you know, your sales swagger script, and it's done wonders for me. So now when I get to the end of my meetings, I know what I'm going to say. I said, hey, you know, it's been wonderful working with you. I'm looking forward to the things that we're going to accomplish in the future. Shay, how do you feel about moving forward? Shay gives me his answer. And now when Shay gives me his answer or his objection, I know what I'm going to say. It's like clockwork. Is that your only concern? And right after that, I start sharing the stories. So if you combine this sales script with the to be continued close, I guarantee you that you will close like a rock star every time. And I see that we do have a question where a person is asking how many times should they actually meet with the client. Here's what I can tell you is that depending on the price of your product or service, that will help you determine how many times you need to meet with the client. Generally, the more expensive your product or service is, the more time you're going to have to spend with them to convert them from a prospect to a customer. So that is just a little bit about the. And Shay, you had some things you want to share on that?
Well, you know, Trevor, I just want to share quickly. You know, listeners, folks, as you're listening to this webinar right now, and I want you to know you've got some content that's going to be really powerful. And you know, let me just share just really quickly, if I can, Trevor, just really quickly that, you know, we've been in business now over 8 years. And one of the things that Trevor was able to do for us was to automate our systems. And, you know, sometimes you wonder, you know, should I spend this money? Should I not spend this money? Well, that's not the point. I decided to work with Trevor Otts. And one of the things he did for us is that we had a database. And we have a process where people can register. And, you know, we had a process where they register, but we weren't doing things on the back end. So we didn't have systems that once they registered for our webinar or attended one of our seminars where we could follow with them and have them run through a sequence of order. So it wasn't automated. Now, you would think, well, Shay, you got a database, you got an Apple computer, you got an iPhone, you got all these gadgets. But here's what Trevor Otts is able to do better than anyone else. Make them work together synergistically. Now that's a long word, but synergistically.
Word challenge. Word challenge.
So the bottom line, what that means is get everything working in harmony. So now that I can step back and my business runs by itself. And what does that mean in terms of money? I mean, we probably generated an extra couple $1,000s a month. And here's the benefit of that. I have that for the rest of my life. So Trevor, I just want to say thanks a lot, folks. You know, plug in, get in the system, and automate your business today. And think about it. How much money are you leaving on the table right now by not having your systems automated? Is it $5,000? Is it $50,000? Some of you, it could be $100,000 or more.
So what's next, folks? Clearly, you know, we're wrapping this webinar up, and I want to tell you how you can proceed forth with getting top-notch coaching. And so what I can tell you is that what's next for you is you're going to need some coaching. Great business professionals, great athletes, great people have coaching. So I want to make an offer to you guys today so that you guys can get some coaching. I have a special program. Shay, I call this my bunny slipper coaching program. Now,
I love it. I love it. See, that's why marketing is so great. I just love it. The bunny slipper coaching program. I can't wait, folks. I haven't seen this, haven't heard about it. So I can't wait to hear about it, Trevor.
Now, you might be wondering, what does bunny slippers have to do with coaching? I realize, Shay, that a lot of people need help taking their business to the next level, and oftentimes they are limited with the time that they actually have available. So I created the Bunny Slipper Coaching Program. It is a satellite coaching program that you can enjoy from the comfort of your home. You can enjoy it at the time that is most convenient to you. So if you're a morning person, great. This coaching program will work for you. If you're an afternoon person, an evening person, a late evening person, you can be coached from the comfort of your home. And you don't even have to get up out of the bed. You can be coached on anything that is relevant to marketing, and we'll be able to do it. And by the way, we really want you to put your bunny slippers on. We want you to be comfortable. So let's just talk about what's included in the Bunny Slipper Coaching Program. The first thing that's included is social media coaching. Social media is running the world now. If you are not social media savvy, you're going to put yourself out of business. So we're going to be coaching you on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and all of the different social media platforms like Pinterest and YouTube and LinkedIn. If you've been struggling in this area, then this is for you. We're going to also be giving you marketing coaches. We're going to be teaching you what to say, how to say. We're going to be helping you create logos, create websites. We're going to be giving you marketing coaching. In addition to that, for the first time ever, we're going to be including in this coaching package automation coaching. We are firm believers here at Broke Marketing Systems that anything that is done more than 3 times during a month can be automated. Oftentimes, we find ourselves working harder, not smarter. And why is that? We work harder because it allows us to feel like we're doing something, but we're not actually progressing. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be helping you automate every part of your business. I remember when I started working with Shay, one of the things that we looked at is we looked at how could he automate his business. Because one of the things that we have to realize, we have to ask ourselves the question, what's the highest and best use of our time? And what I want to do for you guys is I want to give you back more of your time. How? Through helping you automate your processes, automate the way you collect money, automate the way you follow up with your customers, automate the way you deal with your social media system, automate your Facebook posts, automate your Twitter posts, automate everything about your business. In addition to that, we're going to be teaching you guys how to do internet marketing, how to use the power of the internet to drive business to you. Now, here's the thing. I got a general rule. If I gave you $20 and I asked you the question, how would you create 20 customers right now? If you don't know the answer to that question, then you need this coaching. Because if you ask me and you gave me $20 and you told me to create 20 customers, I would give you $19.50 back because all I need is 50 cents to create 20 customers. So I'm going to show you how to use the power of the internet to market for as little as a nickel. As little as a nickel, I'll show you how to create a client. And we're going to be having this coaching every other week. So if you're serious about taking your social media to the next level, if you're serious about your marketing, you want to automate your business, you want to learn about how to do internet marketing properly, then this is for you. Now, I have a caveat here. This coaching is not for people who want to sit on their butts, listen on the phone, do no work. This coaching is for people who are ready to really go to work. Now, if you're serious, this is the coaching program for you. But I'll tell you, you'll need a couple of things in my coaching program. You need a laptop. You need some commitment, and you'll need to be ready to go to work. So what do you need to do to be able to sign up for this coaching? Well, a couple things is you need to have a telephone or a laptop, because you can dial in and listen to the trainings, or you can watch the trainings right from your PC. So if you're at home, you can go ahead and load up your laptop and log into our live webinars, and you'll be able to get the trainings. Or you'll just be able to call in on our conference call number. Whatever your preference is, we have you covered. So now all you need to do is get yourself signed up. It's only $167 a month.
Wow.
For $167 a month, we are going to coach you.
That's amazing.
Now, ordinarily, we charge $499 a month for this coaching program. But today I'm going to do it for $167 a month. But you know what, Chad?
What's that?
I'm not done.
What's next? I can't believe this.
For the next 15 minutes, and I do mean 15 minutes, anybody who wants to sign up for the coaching, you'll be able to sign up right now by just clicking the button below. And you'll be able to sign up for $67 a month. That is only going to be available for 15 minutes. We only have 15 slots. If you'd like to sign up, then sign up immediately by clicking on the button. For 15 minutes, for 15 people, you're going to be able to get the $67 a month special.
Whoa, that's like incredible. Sign me up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't take advantage of that, then you have left money on the table.
Right. Now, I also want to give you guys a bonus. So check out what I want to do for you guys next. We have something major coming up. And I'd like to unveil it today on the webinar, Shay, for the first time. You guys are seeing it first. So today, folks, I get the pleasure to introduce to you guys the Business Booster Bootcamp. That is going to be a 2-day boot camp where we're going to take your business into the stratosphere. That boot camp is ordinarily $799. We're going to have speakers come in from all over the world. People who are experts in their field. Better yet, they are geniuses in their field. We're going to have the Shay Browns, the Trevor Ottses. We're going to have social media sensation, Keisha Lewis. We're going to have the app guy, Eric Izzard, and many other speakers. This is going to be a 2-day boot camp where you're going to be able to come in live and work with our specialists. We're going to make your business over. And that boot camp, the Business Booster Boot Camp, is only $799.
Whoa, that's incredible.
But today, this is what I'm going to do for you. I am going to let you attend this boot camp free today for all people who sign up for the coaching program.
It just keeps getting better and better.
So if you sign up for the coaching program, you are going to the Business Booster Boot Camp totally for free. Shay, I'm not.
Did you say free?
Free. It's
free. I love it.
But that's not all, Shay.
What's
We're also going to give them one free buddy pass. One free buddy pass that they can use for a friend to attend the Business Booster Bootcamp. That is only for the people who sign up for the coaching. Remember, that coaching program is only available for 15 minutes. 3 minutes are already gone, so we're down to 12 minutes. And while we're eating up a little bit of time, Shay, I want to go over a couple other little special things we got going on. We do have a special contest going on. And Shay, you didn't know about this contest, so I'm going to go ahead and fill you in.
Okay, tell me about this.
We are going to go to them.
Okay.
Some lucky contestant is going to get the chance to have us come to their town, their location. We're going to bring our team of experts to their location, wherever they may be. Their only responsibility is to pay for the travel and the lodging. But we're going to come to you. We've been to California. We've been to Dallas. You want us to come to your office. You want us to come to your meeting, come to your church, come to your organization. This is a special contest for just the people that are on the webinar today. Here's how you win. To win us coming to your town, you need to send in the email. In that email, you need to choose a number between 1 and 100.
Wow.
All emails must contain your name, your cell phone, and your email address so that we can contact the winner. On the screen, you are now seeing my email address. I want you to write that down really quickly. And all you need to do is send me an email with the information that I listed above and choose a number between 1 and 100. And Shay, I say we're going to let one person win, but how about we let 2 people win? What do you think about that?
Let's go ahead and do the 2 people. Those are the folks that take action. I believe the universe rewards people who take action differently than those that don't. So those folks that are taking action in that first 15 minutes, let's go ahead and have 2 winners.
Okay, 2 winners it is. So if you'd like to see the Business Booster group, the speakers, if you'd like to see them come to your town, we're coming. And you know, Shay, I fly cheap. I fly on Southwest where bags fly free.
Whoa!
I fly coach.
I fly coach, absolutely.
So if you'd like to win, just submit the number and submit your name, cell phone, and email address, and we'll be happy to pick our winner. By the way, the winner will be chosen in the next 72 hours, so you will be notified by cell phone and by email, okay? So just want to thank you guys, and here's our way of saying thank you. Remember that you have a friend in Trevor Otts and a friend in Shay Brown, and be sure to go like my Facebook page where I'm always posting contests and special little bonuses for my friends. And we thank you. And Shay, you have any closing thoughts, any closing tips you want to leave them with?
Well, thank you all for being on this call. Thank you for spending time with us, and I encourage you all to take advantage of this very unique. I don't think you'll find anything like this on the planet. If you were to come to me today and say, Shay, I need to automate my system. Shay, I need to improve my social media. Shay, I need to take my marketing to the next level, I wouldn't know where to send you. And Trevor put together a package that works for where you are right now and is sure to put money in your pocket. So Trevor, thanks a lot. You're truly a special, unique type of person. I'm honored to have the opportunity to work with you.
All right. And Shay, do you have a Facebook page that they might be able to go and like your page if they're not friends of yours already?
Sure. One of the things you can go to facebook.com/my name, Shay, CHEBROWN sales, SALES. So that's facebook.com/C as in Charlie, H as in Henry, E as in Edwards, last name Brown, and sales, SALES.
All right. So maybe we can get you a couple of Facebook likes. I think that is about it. We're going to let the screen run for a little bit longer. We know that we promised you guys that the offer would stay available for 15 minutes, but I want you guys to have a great, wonderful, and spectacular day. And remember, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. But with good marketing, you can sure make them thirsty. I'll see you next time on our next broadcast. Have a great, wonderful, and spectacular day.